Driver swing and iron swing, what's the difference? What are you getting wrong? In today's video, I'm going to show you exactly some of the unknown truths between these two clubs that I think lots of you are missing out on, which is why you might hit one of them better than the other. Remember, if you like the video, hit the subscribe button down below and don't be afraid to leave a comment. I want to know, what do you prefer, driver or irons? So let's kick off with some basic housekeeping to start. These are the bits I think everyone probably knows, and if you don't, here's a good run over of some of the truths. Point number one is width of stance. My width of stance with my iron to my driver is going to be narrower with my iron and slightly wider with my driver. Think of it as about a width of your iron head. So whatever width you are with your iron, so let's pretend I'm set up to this one with my iron. I'm just going to move a width of that head out for the driver to give me that little bit more stability. Then we see ball positions just slightly further forward. So iron, I'm going to get that ball position a little bit more somewhere towards, say, the middle of my stance, where with the driver, you're going to see it pushed up more towards lead foot. I don't see many golfers who get this wrong. It makes a lot of sense in their mind. Driver, you might be hitting a bit more on the way up to level. Iron, you're going to be hitting that ball a little bit more on the way down. So it makes a lot of sense for golfers to get that closer to the middle, with the driver push that little bit further forwards. Iron, I'm bent forward 40 degrees. So that's basically me bending forwards around 40 degrees. With the driver, I'm slightly more upright. I'm not bent forward as much, 34 degrees. Then in turn, what we see with the iron, hands are underneath the shoulders, where with the driver, a good rule of thumb is to try and get your hands a little bit more under your chin. So you can see they're a little bit more kind of mouth to chin. So the setup, a little bit more hands underneath chin, kind of mouth with the hands, and that little bit more upright. I do see golfers get this quite wrong, big reaching, and then in turn, big reach with the iron. Get the irons underneath shoulders, hands and arms with your driver, you're a little bit more upright, and get your hands under your chin. Then when it comes to your tilts in your body, you can see my shoulder tilt. So how much I'm tilted this way is slightly more with the driver than it is with the iron. This is because that ball was slightly further forward. So you basically head behind the ball, where with this one, it's kind of ear on the ball a little bit more tilted with the driver. Easy way to establish that tilt, just try and introduce your trail hand last, and if you introduce it from your right thigh, you will see it just gives you those natural tilts, and then with the ball not so far forward, it's going to give you a much smaller tilt. So it's subtle, but there's a little bit more tilt with driver over iron. Then as we move these two swings into impact, what we're going to notice around impact, shoulder tilt with driver is a little bit more than it is with iron. So iron, I'm a bit more stacked, where with the driver, we are going to notice that the head is definitely on its way back. The iron, absolutely not as much. Really simple way of feeling that. Iron, stand with your feet just the width of the head apart and hit a few shots where you feel that you turn more on top of the ball. So feel like you're rotating while stacked on top. This will give you that feeling that we see less tilt than we do with the driver. Then with the driver, stand with your feet maybe 2 driver head widths apart, but get the ball just outside of the whole of your lead foot and try and hit a few shots where you feel like you're pushing it out straight in front of you. So don't let it go left from here. And what you're going to find is these need to go forwards, this stays back, which will give you that feeling of that little bit more tilt as you hit the ball. And the difference between stacking on top with the iron to letting that head move back as the lower half moves forward with the driver, it's going to encourage better angle attacks, might encourage better distance, but also give you those better tilts as you come in to hit the ball. Now the last myth, which lots of you are not doing this, and this is a real source of power for so many good golfers. It's going to help you hit your driver longer and straighter, and with your iron, the contrast in movement might give you a little bit more of a consistent strike. Let me know in the comments if you knew this one, because this one is very patterned out with good players to amateurs, that they do it and amateurs don't. Like, it's shocking how often I see this. So remember at the start, we talked about having lead foot turned out more with driver than iron, around 5-ish degrees, having that little bit more turned out with that lead foot. The real noticeable difference that we see with good players to lesser players is when good players hit their driver, their lead foot rotates out more than where they started, up to 5 degrees, meaning if I start with my foot at this angle, if you watch my lead foot quite closely, you're going to see Mine jumps, but look how much more turned out it is. So it's actually in the process of going this way as I hit the ball. I'm using it for more kind of energy out of that ground, try and control low point because it pushes me up. So it'll push me up and down subject to where the ball is on the ground. Where with the iron, what we notice with better players is the lead foot turns out hardly at all. So if they're trying to hit an iron really hard, you'll see it, but often we'll see the lead foot turn a little bit to much more less with the iron. It's more of a stable. They're still pushing out of the ground, just not as aggressively. It still has a little bit of turn, but nowhere near as much as it does with the driver. Now, with lots of amateurs watching, you're probably going to think, well, I need to stay really stable to strike the ball better. Like the stiller I stay as I hit the ball, the more chance I've got of hitting the middle. They are using this action to control low point. Remember, the ball's on a tee, to get better angle of attacks, to get better energy out of the ground. And the more I do this with amateurs, they feel scared at the start, but their strikes between the two clubs absolutely transforms. So really way of thinking about it, or easy way of thinking about it, with the iron, and this is why probably lots of you in the comments are saying you prefer your irons to your driver, is that your iron, you can do what most of you already do, just stay with that foot at the angle it started at. Don't feel like you're spinning out of it much at all, don't feel like you're really jamming it in the ground. You can a little bit, but you can stay more controlled, feel more like you're just kind of pushing into that foot and coming slightly out, but you're not spinning out of it. But with the driver, I want you to use this drill, which will feel scary, but if you've got all the other bits in place, it will change how you hit the big stick. So one of the patterns we see, remember we've got lead foot turned out more with a driver than we do with the iron, is on the backswing, good players are actually turning their heel towards the target in the backswing. So the heel goes that way. So the foot starts turned out, it starts to straighten, and then as they come in to hit the ball, they push back into that foot, it stops for a little bit, and then through impact, they let it go. So I want you to hit a few shots where you exaggerate this move. So I want you to feel like you turn, heel towards target, keep the foot where it is, just let it move, and then to hit the ball, heel away from target. Remember what we talked about with tilts into the ball? This is going to assist with you getting better movements, heads going back, this going forwards. And just exaggerate it. So in a few practice shots, let's go 2 practice shots. Heel towards the target, heel back. Not my best strike, but I really felt this foot kind of corkscrewing in the ground. Remember having the lead foot turned out a bit more. Same idea, really exaggerate it. Heel out towards target, heel back. You're going to find you start getting a few strikes the more you do it. So second one already starting to feel more middly. And now you've exaggerated it on 2 shots. The last shot, I want you to do it a tiny bit. This is the gaming shot. This is what you're going to take to the course. So you're going to feel like your heel barely moves. Just want to put it into perspective where you can see pictures of Jack Nicklaus, top of his backswing. You know, he is like this in his early days. That heel's really going out. It's kind of a movement that was just taught out of golf, and it needs to be put back in. So for the gaming shot, a little bit of heel movement, but not as much. And try and put it into play. Let me know which ones of these surprise you down in the comments down below. If you want to find out how far you should be hitting your driver for your ability, check this video out. It's got all the information you need. Remember to hit that subscribe button down there. Give it a subscribe.